have ventured down from the state of Georgia as well to see this matchup, and we are underway. The Outback Bowl 2000. Checking on the sideline with Adrian Karsten. Adrian?
Ron, thanks very much and Happy New Year. You know, ever since November, Georgia's been trying to get over what could be the worst hangover in college football. Point is this. You lose to Florida, Tennessee, and Auburn, that's one thing. But we're down by 17 points against Georgia Tech, your arch rival. Then he scored 24 unanswered and still lose on the fumble that wasn't, well, to use Jim Donovan's words, we couldn't get to January 1st fast enough. I'm not going to say this is a must-win game. Jim says moments ago, if we're going to win this game, we have to take some chances, Ron. This is the best thing, or the closest thing to a must-win game Jim has seen in a long time.
Okay, Adrian, we look forward to hearing from you today. First play from scrimmage at the 20-yard line. And Brees throws on first down, throws it complete, and it'll be enough, I believe, for the first down. Randall Lane is the man who made the catch. Take a look at the starting lineups for Purdue. Only has one running back behind him, and that is Montrell Lowe. The receivers, Stratton, the tight end, Sutherland, Daniels, and Randall Lane. And up front with the offensive line, Light, Merskowski, Niedrich, Ukobe, and Gorin. It is a gain of 10 and a first down on the very first snap by Purdue. They come to the reverse. Good block to the open field. This is Sutherland. Sutherland, 40, 45, and he'll take it out to midfield. 21 yards on the second play of the game by Purdue. Here's the defense for Georgia. Big group up front, and they are very good. Adrien, Stroud, Seymour. Evans gets the start. Dustin Lucky can play in the second half. You remember he had to sit out the second half of the Georgia Tech game because of the fight. He can play the second 30 minutes. Bailey, Bell, and Grant are the linebackers. And the secondary, Wansley and Henderson, they got their hands full at the corner. Chambers and Cap Burnett are the safeties. Gain of 5, and he'll take it down just inside the 45-yard line.
Ron, Jim Chaney, the offensive coordinator of Purdue, wants to really affect Richard Seymour and Marcus Stroud, the two big defensive linemen. 295 pounds for Seymour, 300 for Stroud. And that's why you saw the reverse. You see a draw. They're trying to make sure these two defensive linemen don't tee off on Drew Brees. Give them a lot of action.
Full wide receiver set. Brown is the running back this time, and you see this is Grant coming on a blitz. Pumps it once, goes over the middle. That's complete. That's a great catch at the 32-yard line by Sutherland. Brees actually threw it a little bit behind him, and boy, did he make a great adjustment. Gain of 13.
Vinny Sutherland is the speed receiver for Purdue. He runs track for Purdue. He plays second in the 60-meter dash in the Big Ten indoors. Man-to-man coverage by Georgia and taking a chance and going after Drew Brees. Good catch.
Jim Donnan talked at length with you and with me about, he said, we got to put pressure. We got to hit this guy some. But not many people have been able to
touched him yet.
That's right. Not many people have been able to do that this year. Stratton, the tight end, adjusts from outside. They bring him back in the block. Pumps it once, going to go deep. Got a man at the 5, and he overthrew him. Sutherland was there, and he had more than a step on the defensive back, Wansley.
Ron, you're exactly right on Tim Stratton, what they did on that play. Drew Brees looked over the defense. He saw he had man coverage, Wansley number 2, and so he brought Stratton back inside to block and to give him an extra blocker. Kept him into the backside, pump faked, and tried to go for the bomb against Wansley.
Brees, 2 of 3, 24 yards. You see his numbers, 61% completion percentage, 21 touchdowns, 11 INTs. Rolls the pocket, now he's going to loft it to the end zone, and it is knocked away. Nice defensive play at the 2-yard line by Chambers.
Earl Chambers with a good job defensively. This is a whole revamped secondary by Georgia. Late in the season, they started very strong, 6-1, 1-3 in the last 4 games. Kevin Ramsey, the defensive coordinator, switched his secondaries late in the season.
In fact, when we did them last against Tennessee, Robinson, Chambers, Mann, and Harris, they were all starters. Now they're second team or playing in the nickel situations. Third down, 3rd and 10. Line to make is the 22. Chambers makes the tackle, gain of 17 yards, and when they got a 3rd and 10 with this offense, it's not a big thing to them.
Ron, they spread you all out. The offensive line does a nice job of keeping them off Drew Brees. He has a day and a half to throw this football. Seems step up now, find the receiver, Tolbert, get free over the middle, and 1st down. He's got to get pressure on Drew Brees.
This is the 8th play of the drive coming up. The ball just outside the 16-yard line of Georgia. Most teams, when they win the toss, they defer. Not Purdue. They wanted the football, but they won the toss. Blitz off the corner. Pressure is on. And there is a flag down. Whistles all over the place. Gives us an opportunity to tell you that the officials are from the Big 12 Conference. And Randy Crystal is the referee.
Umpires big today.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense. It'll be a 5-yard penalty and remain 1st down.
Ron, the reason the umpire's big, JC Lineback, because of all the passing that's going to take place today, whether he sees holding or not. Both offensive lines done a nice job. Purdue's offensive line has only allowed 12 sacks this entire season.
So it's got to be a 1st down and 15. And your point's well taken, Mike. We'll keep an eye on JC and see how many flags he tosses today. Calls for holding. Pressure on the backside. Didn't feel it. And Alexis Grant will record the 1st sack of the afternoon for Georgia. Now it's going to be 2nd down Purdue and very, very long.
Came from the outside. Leonard is a true freshman in 1996 for Georgia. But credit the secondary because they do a good job of covering the quick routes of Purdue, which makes Drew Brees hold on to the ball a little longer. This would be big for Georgia. There's the 12 sacks. Throw another one in there.
2nd fewest in the nation. That was a -8 on that play. Add the 5-yard penalty. They've got 2nd down at about 23. Well, that secondary for Georgia is chopped off 15, almost 20 yards. Flag is down. Quick screen in the flat. Grant missed the tackle. Now going to be shoved out of bounds at the 19. Chris James.
And then number 28, Chris James, penalty flag on the play.
I guess against Georgia. A lot of penalties in the bowl games I've watched so far. Again, you have such a long layoff. And you practice mostly group practice and team practice. And you get away a little bit from fundamentals.
On the defense, it'll be a 5-yard penalty and remain 2nd down.
Kevin Ramsey, the defensive coordinator, very, very good football coach. Came here from Tennessee, took over the defensive coordinator spot from Joe Kynes. Joe's the assistant head coach now, and both of them confer a lot. Joe Kynes has been a big help to Kevin Ramsey.
Kevin Ramsey probably said, hey, everybody's excited about a January 1 game, but I'm not having to get ready for a team like this as Sutherland drops the football.
No, and the tough thing about it, Ron, is you're recruiting, too. And you're trying to recruit some defensive players as a defensive coordinator, and you're all over the country, and you're trying to get back to watch tape, and you're trying to do 2 things at one time.
Well, the interesting thing about Purdue and preparing for Purdue, knowing what they're going to do is one thing, but stopping them is another. Because every coach of every team that they play says they do the same thing in game number 11 that they do in game number 1, but come stop them.
And Georgia's got a good shot right here. They've got him in 3rd and long.
They need to take this ball down just inside the 6-yard line. They're going to have another flag. They were offside. Throws it complete to Daniels. He is the leading receiver for this Purdue group. And although they picked up more yardage than 5, I think probably they're going to take the penalty and then make it a third down at about, what, 13 or 14 yards. Evans is the man who jumped. He is the one who's replacing Dustin Lucky, who cannot play in the first half because of the fight against Georgia Tech.
Drew Brees doing a nice job on snap count.
Offside on the defense. It'll be a 5-yard penalty and remain third down.
Trying to, again, get a jump. Evans, the junior defensive end, 6'3", 275, trying to get pressure on Drew Brees. Jim Donovan's got to have a concern in this ball game. You know, the motivation of this Georgia football team lost a very difficult game to Georgia Tech. Adrian talked about that.
Now the conversation that is going on is Georgia's defensive huddle broke the huddle with 12 men and then sent a guy off at the last second. Jacobs.
This may be a clock situation too, Ron. I think they're resetting the clock. This be big for Georgia, coming off 1-3 in the final 4 ball games. Haven't played well on defense. Need to stop here. Expecting man coverage, bringing Stratton back in.
Looks up the middle, throws his pass, not complete at the 2-yard line, and pushed back. It'll be first and goal, Purdue. Chris James, the receiver.
Ron, that's what happens when you tip off whether you're coming with a blitz or not. Drew Brees is so smart in this offense. He knows this offense as well as Joe Tiller and Jim Chaney, the offensive coordinator. He knows he's got man coverage. He knows he's got one-on-one situations. He hits Chris James for the first down, brings Stratton back in to block against the blitz. If you're going to tip it off, Drew Brees is going to shred you.
Well, actually, they have placed the ball down at the 4-yard line, but it's first and goal for the Boilermakers. You see their numbers inside the 20 this year. 29 touchdowns and 14 field goals.
I'm sure Joe Kynes is going to get with his defense, and Kevin Ramsey's going to talk to him about not tipping it off. Don't show it to the last second so Drew Brees doesn't get that little tip. Disguise as much and as long as you can defensively. They like the option down here with Drew Brees.
Short drop, quick look in, and he dropped it. Boy, hit Lane right in the hands with the football. He had gotten by Henderson.
Reason the slant's good down here, Ron, because everybody runs the fade. Everybody runs the outside routes, and that's why it makes the slant open, and he threw it right. Money should have been caught.
Well, with his gun, that's a great route also. Not much time to adjust, is there?
No, there's not. And Drew Brees is going to be a great pro quarterback. He's been a great college quarterback, a high school quarterback that threw for over 61% of his completions.
12th play of the drive, started back at the 20-yard line after the touchback of the opening kickoff. Stratton readjust again. Daniels in motion. Pass to the touchdown. It's Daniels. And you see the lineman picking him up, and why he's so excited. He's from Clearwater, which is the next city over here.
Yeah, he's having a nice homecoming this whole week. They just ran an option route, a little arrow route with Chris Daniels. They have such a great chemistry of your great quarterbacks and receivers. They just know every move that you can make together.
Travis Dortch to attempt the extra point. Youngster out of Bozeman, Montana, 6'6", 219, very rangy for a field goal kicker. Good pass, and he knocks it home. So let's take a timeout with 10:26 left in his opening quarter. And the Boilermakers take it 80 yards to score on the opening play, finishing off with Chris Daniels with a touchdown.
AT&T Double O Info, how can I help you?
I need a phone number. The mystery bookstore outside Chicago. I don't have a clue which town.
Now you can get information even if you don't have all the information. AT&T customers dial 00. You don't need the exact location.
Found it.
Great detective work.
Dial 00 for any local or long distance number anywhere, even Yellow Page listings.
Oh, oh, it's magic. You know.
Wow.
lights out.
I got a bulb, but this will last you 2 years. Guaranteed.
Cool. Philips, official light bulb of Times Square 2000. Philips, light bulbs that last.
In my house, I have a stair climber. In my house,
I have a stationary bike. In my house, I have
a treadmill.
In my house, a rowing machine.
And they're all collecting dust.
Get out there and explore from your Ford Outfitter. Outfitting you with the most far-reaching sport utilities on Earth. Ford Outfitters. No boundaries.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of the 2000 Outback Bowl is presented by Outback Steakhouse. No rules, just right. And in part by Ford Outfitters. No boundaries. The Florida Aquarium, great spot. Purdue, great spot for them in the Georgia end zone. 7-0 as Drew Brees talks it over with the folks upstairs, and they almost made that ho-hum. Now, there was a penalty or two that...
Big penalty on Evans being offside that gave him another shot to go for that touchdown.
Milliken is the deep man. This is a very high and short kick. Patrick pass from around the 8-yard line.
This kind of game, you've got to answer scores. Here's the touchdown. Chris Daniels is going to come in motion. And what he's going to do, he's working against Orantis Grant. Once he plants, he now is going to work against this linebacker right here and then arrow back outside. Very difficult to stop that in the position Orantis Grant was in. He was too far inside.
That's a matchup that Purdue would like to get each and every time. Wide receiver on the linebacker. Quick pass back into the long side of the field. This is Edwards. And the speedster almost picks up a first down. In fact, he might have on the initial play. Let's take a look at the starters offensively for Georgia. Quincy Carter and, of course, Patrick Pass and Jasper Sanks behind him. The receivers, there's some awfully good tight ends. Johnson also looked for McMichael. Both of those guys will catch a lot of balls today. Greer and Edwards, who you just saw. And up front with the offensive line, Miles Lucky in the middle as two tackles, Stinchcomb and Jennings. Well, both excellent. Stinchcomb made the freshman All-American team this year, along with 4 of his counterparts on this Georgia Bulldog football team. Pass. Maybe a yard. That's about it. David Nugent, the senior out of Collierville, Tennessee, made the tackle. As we take a look at those starters, Dinkins, Mitrione, Nugent we just talked about, and Adel. The linebackers, Odomfelds and Rose. And in the secondary, Hawthorne and Clopton gets the start today ahead of Dunnigan. Clopton had replaced Hawthorne when he was injured, earned himself a starting position, playing very well the last couple of games of the year. Beasley and Turner are the safeties for the Boyders. Quincy Carter option play. Got it blocked well, and it is knocked out of bounds by Fells, the linebacker.
Jim Donnan talking to him before the ball game, Ron. He said, I'm going to spread out Purdue. And I'm going to try. I figure I got better speed than Purdue has. I'm going to spread them out. I'm going to run more option plays with Quincy Carter, get him on the corner a little bit, and see if our speed can wear down Purdue's defense.
The two things that Brock Spack said the other day, the defensive coordinator for Purdue, they were worried about him spreading them out, and also the Georgia tight ends, right?
Tight ends are going to be big right here. Johnson, 48, McMichael, 86, because they're going to play against linebackers.
Short drop and a little miscommunication here. Greer, he was looking for him to run the short curl, and he had gone on downfield quite a few yards.
Quarterbacks, it's like a tennis match. You got to answer serve. And now, and Quincy Carter, when Drew Brees takes his team right down the field and scores 17 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, it's important in this kind of ball game because it can be a high-scoring game to answer scores.
Third down. They need to take it to the 47-yard line. Purdue leads it 7-0. There's Sanks. Tell you what, he's close. I don't think he made it. Do you go for it this close, Mike? Or
I think in a track meet, you don't want to give Drew Brees the ball at the 50-yard line.
So the first really major decision of the contest for either coach. I'll tell you what, they gave him a pretty good spot, though, because where that linesman came in from across the way, I thought he missed it by at least a yard. But now it looks like it's inside of yard, and they've asked for the change to come in.
Jim Donnan right now trying to figure out what he's going to do on 4th down if he goes for this play. He's got Quincy Carter, who's a big quarterback at 6'3", 223. It's a quarterback sneak type of area, and I think he's going to go for it. I would expect a quarterback sneak here with Quincy Carter. Smaller quarterback could say give it to somebody else. He's got size.
6'3", 6'3 and a half, almost 225 pounds. Boilermaker fans trying to liven up the defense here. And Mike's point is very well taken. You better pick this one up because you don't want Drew Brees with the football at the 50-yard line. They go with the pitch. And he is not going to have it. Good heavens, he's tackled for a 4-yard loss by Chris Clopton. Now, put a big mark by that one. Particularly if the Boilers put it in the end zone. I'm amazed he didn't take it up the middle.
Well, I'm amazed that Quincy Carter didn't quarterback sneak it, but they tried to get outside of all the mess inside. Purdue ganging up inside. They felt Patrick Pass could get outside. A very good play by Chris Clopton. They ran up to the line of scrimmage. They hurried up. They tried to get Purdue not set. They had good blocks in the corner. Just a nice play by Chris Clopton. Now you give Drew Brees the ball inside the 50-yard line.
The two receivers to the top of your screen is Sutherland and Chris Daniels. Daniels, who caught the touchdown a moment ago. They fake that reverse to Sutherland, and then they throw to a wide-open running back who drops the football. And I'll tell you what, Wansley, as the flag is down, Wansley should have picked it off in midair and gone for a touchdown.
Flags is where there's usually holding in the secondary. Holding on one of these two teams.
Holding against the defense. That's interesting. Georgia was pointing toward Purdue. As we mentioned, Randy Crystal is the referee. Interesting that the alternate today.
Holding on the defense. The holding occurred on an eligible receiver. It'll be a 10-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
That was the call by Crystal. The alternate today is John Bible. And if you're a big college baseball fan, you've heard both of those names umpiring at the College World Series in Omaha for a number of years. A lot of these guys do two sports, football, basketball, or football and baseball.
Keep your eyes sharp.
But those two guys are awfully good at baseball also, Mike. See that secondary creeping up at the top of your screen. They go with the running play. This is Lowe. Lowe dragged forward by the tackler, who was Boss Bailey. And he's going to have a gain of about 6 yards. Adrian Karsten, what do you have for us?
Ron, that defensive holding call, unfortunately for Georgia, is the result of an adjustment they had to make in this series. The defensive backs have to play tighter on the Purdue receivers, especially the primary and secondaries. They know who they are, but they cannot give them 3 and 4 yards after they catch the ball. In effect, if they play them tighter, they will help out Seymour and Stroud up front as they rush Drew Brees.
Play them tighter, or you get the chance of a long ball.
Running again, this is Lowe. And is going to fight his way almost to the 10-yard line. It's a gain of 17 as Henderson and Burnett made touchdown-saving tackles.
Ron, this play, the draw, 2 draws in a row, sending a message to Georgia. Don't get up the football field and pass rush Drew Brees. Montrell Lowe, the redshirt freshman, in his first start against Ohio State at 153 yards on 25 carries. So a very, very capable running back.
He's the leading rusher for the Boilers, 754 yards in the year, an average of 4.8 per try, and his longest 43 yards. Daniels in motion. Now they roll that pocket back to the short side. Wide open Daniels. Touchdown number 2 for him.
Hit him with a draw, then you hit him with a draw fake. You get Drew Brees outside, and he has something with Chris Daniels. They have a great feel for each other. 109 receptions coming into this game with 5 touchdowns. He's got 2 more touchdowns tacked on, and Kevin Ramsey and the Georgia defense got a headache.
Travis Norris to attempt the extra point, trying to put Purdue up 14-0 at the midpoint of his opening quarter. He missed it. He just pushed it off to the right. So it's 7-10 left in the opening quarter. Purdue, 2 offensive possessions, 2 touchdowns, and 2 to this gentleman right here, Chris Daniels, who is from right up the road in Clearwater.
If you've promised yourself a richer experience this year, visit the vacation land that wasn't born yesterday, Tampa. This year, come to where the characters are for real, the sunsets are out of this world, and the spirit of adventure is alive and well. Tampa, the heart and soul of Florida.
Out here, the stories unfold like a map. Stories written across the sky with the tip of an eagle's wing. Stories to fill a scrapbook you'd want to page through again and again. But first, you've got to go to where the stories live. You'll need an outfitter for the journey. Ford is your outfitter. With the most far-reaching sport utilities on Earth, created to take you where the stories begin and never end. Ford Outfitters. No boundaries.
Golden Globe Award nominee, Best Picture, Golden Globe Award nominee, Best Director, and Golden Globe Award nominee, Best Actor, Denzel Washington. The Hurricane. Rated R. Select theaters, check local listings.
Number 1 Florida State takes on number 2 Virginia Tech for the national championship. The Nokia Sugar Bowl, January 4th.
13-0 Purdue, and here's our Outback trivia question of the day. In Purdue's only bowl loss versus Virginia in the 1984 Peach Bowl, who were the starting quarterbacks? Who were the starting quarterbacks? Our Outback trivia question of the day.
Well, they win if they answer.
I have enough trouble with the question. I don't know. Pass and Milliken are the 2 deep men. Brees has got to be pretty excited with this start.
And Georgia needs the answer here badly.
This kick is longer, and he will not return it. Milliken about 3 yards deep in the end zone. Coming up tomorrow night on ESPN, National Hockey Night from the Windy City. Owen Nolan leads the San Jose Sharks into Chicago to face off against the Blackhawks. Game time 8:30 Eastern from the United Center. ESPN and ABC, your exclusive networks for the National Hockey League.
Ron, that was such a big play, the 4th and 1. But in fairness to Jim Donnan, it was a good call. I like the call after I looked at it, and we're going to see an unbelievable play by Mike Rose, the linebacker, who really made that play happen for Purdue's defense.
Quincy Carter swings it in the backfield and going to be brought for a loss. Jasper Sexton will find no place to run.
Watch the fullback now here. Vernon Haynes, this is the 4th down play. The fullback is going to block on Clopton. They got out of the huddle real quick, and they really caught Purdue by surprise. Now they pitch the ball. Watch the fullback go. He's going to block, but he never gets out because Mike Rose continued playing and knocked him off. And Mike Rose really deserves the credit for that play along with Chris Clopton.
So what you're saying is the lead blocker was...
Yeah, it was a good play. If Rose doesn't make the play, they've got a big game.
penalty flags.
Really concerned. If you're a Georgia football coach right now, you got to be concerned about the mental state of this football team. Ended up 1-3, lost a critical game to Georgia Tech. Fumble called. They just, I looked at them running out in the field. They talk a lot about Georgia Tech game. Jim Donnan, really a team that's a young football team too, Ron. I think the expectation level was too high. They started out 6-1. Tennessee was the only loss.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense. It'll be a 5-yard penalty and remain second down.
But they're too young a football team. Their best years are ahead next year and the year after.
So this penalty pushes it back to the 13-yard line. Loss on first down, and now the penalty as they started second down. So it's second, and what do we show here? About 17 yards for the first. That's 4 penalties for 25 yards against the Bulldogs. Quincy Carter got that middle screen working here. Greer will take it out to the 25, and he picked up a bulk of it right there. It's going to wind up being a third down at about 5.5 after a gain of 12.
Michael Greer, the possession receiver for this Georgia football team. This was a big question at the start of the year. They lose Champ Bailey. He played a lot of receiver for him. Terrence Edwards was a quarterback, running back in high school, defensive back, Washington County High School. So they didn't really have an established receiver at the beginning of this year other than Greer.
Carter right up in the middle front, and I'll tell you, he is not going to pick up the first down. That is a great tackle on Edwards by Beasley. Beasley just took him down one-on-one.
Beasley, a team captain, free safety for this football team. He's one interception away from breaking his school career passing interception record. Just makes a good tackle.
Sutherland is the deep man. He'll go to do the punting for the Georgia Bulldogs. Good driving spiral. Sutherland all the way back to the 19-yard line. And excellent coverage on the special teams by the Bulldogs. Number 2, Wansley, 51 yards on the punt and nothing on the return. So let's take a timeout. 4:40 remaining in the opening quarter. Purdue 13-0.
Mark John Jeffries here for People PC. Many people wonder how good a computer People PC can possibly offer for just $24.95 a month, along with unlimited internet access, in-home service, and great deals. Is a People PC computer a no-name piece of free-world junk? No, my friend, it is not. It's a brand you know with all the power you need to send emails, manage your finances, and play important new video games. How can People PC offer such a fine machine, unlimited internet access, in-home service, and great deals, all for just $24.95 per month? To find out, visit peoplepc.com or call 1-800-PEOPLE-PC. I hope this clears up any ambiguity. Thank you, and God bless.
You can get an Epson Stylus Color 660 printer for the incredibly low price of just $99 if you join People PC today. Just visit peoplepc.com.
Tonight on ESPN at 6:30 Sports Center, at 7 ESPN Magazine, at 7:30 NFL Tonight, and at 11 the Late Sports Center. On ESPN2 at 9:30 Harlem Globetrotters basketball, at 11:30 NHL Tonight, at midnight NFL Tonight, and at 12:30 America's Cup Challenge. And on ESPN Classic, Sports Century's The 50 Greatest Athletes Marathon. Do you have all the ESPN networks?
Welcome to the first game of the millennium, the Outback Bowl 2000. The Purdue Boilermakers and the Georgia Bulldogs. And if Georgia in this season has ever had a time that they need to come up with a big defensive stop, it's right here.
Big right now, Ron. They found out that Purdue's offense is Y2K compliant because they just keep moving down the football field. And they've helped them a little bit with penalties.
Brees 6 of 10, 70 yards, 2 touchdowns. Cedric Brown is the lone setback with Brees on this drive. It's either low or ground. That's the way they do it. Not at any time do they have two backs in the backfield usually. Well, the umpire almost got run over on that one as Daniels made the catch. Daniels is having himself a heck of an afternoon as Wansley made the tackle.
Ron, you go back to what Adrian said at the start. When you lose your last football game to Georgia Tech in a controversial ball game, and you wear it, you think about it. People talk about it all the time, and I think this ball club was affected by that ball game. Now you can say, well, that was 3 weeks ago, but it wears on you. They need you're right, they need a big play to snap them out of this.
Something to turnover. Mike Wansley almost intercepted that play because that was holding on that same play, so that would have been a race. But they just got to do something to wake everybody up. You see Brees really upset with himself. A 25-second clock.
One of the few he's going to make today.
And he is really...
Prior to the snap, delay, 5-yard penalty, it remains second down.
Drew is such a competitor, and he looks for precision out of himself as well as his teammates. And that's one of the reasons that this offense works the way it does.
You know, the other reason, Ron, he's a completion percentage leader at Purdue in careers over 60%, but in high school, he threw 211 out of 333 for 63%. So he's an accurate guy, always has been an accurate quarterback.
Here comes that option. Pitched at the last minute, pitched it out of bounds away from the running back, and it may have been the best thing that he could have done. Lowe couldn't hang on.
He's smiling a little bit. Lowe would have got lit up.
Lowe, the intended recipient.
Cap Burnett was in good shape on that.
Well, Cap is shaken up on the play. He is down at the 38-yard line. Well, we thought two things about this football game. A, we'd be the first game of the millennium, and B, that we might have the first 4-hour game of the millennium. And we're 100% on one, and we're about to be 100% on the other. We're about to have a 1-hour opening quarter.
Ron, talking to Jim Chaney, the offensive coordinator, he said it's time to get the 2000 campaign, the Heisman campaign, open for Drew Brees. He said last year, during the year, this past season, he said they were a little afraid because he was a junior talking about the Heisman, but he said he's earned it. He said, let's talk Heisman for Drew Brees.
Well, as we've been talking about, there was speculation that Drew might be considering going to the NFL a year early. Here's why he decided to come back.
It's still to prove. Still, I'm not satisfied with what's been happening. We're glad that we've been able to go to a bowl 3 years in a row, but we're just so close to being one of the best in the country, and that's the main reason I came back right there.
Well, guess who he has become friends with in the state of Indiana, who also, I think, has helped him a little in decision-making, is Peyton Manning. And, of course, Peyton at Tennessee said that he wanted to come back because he enjoyed the experience of playing college football. And I think in visiting with Drew on the practice field day before yesterday, he has some of those same feelings. He enjoys the competition in the game of college football.
Ron, he has a lot of the same qualities that Peyton Manning has.
13-0. The Boilermakers on top. This young fellow right here just got a world of ability, and he's got to get the folks around him ignited. First of all, they got to get the offense back on the field, though, and put this Purdue defense to rest because they haven't punted this afternoon. They've had the possession twice, and they've scored twice. Brees, all the time in the world. There's his first down. This time it's Chris James. 12 yards in the pass play, and they make it look very easy.
Ron, they clear out. They got a double cross. Both receivers on the same side are going to cross, and that's going to open it up as they come down. Chris James is the outside receiver, so what you have you start to have the inside receiver coming open here. He's affecting the linebacker. Now Chris James comes into the area that he vacated for the first down.
Chris James, 2 catches for the freshman out of Tampa. For a total of 28 yards. Grant coming on the blitz, but they ran away from him. Here's Lowe. And Lowe with the flag coming from way downfield.
And looked like a hold on Georgia, or on Purdue. One of the wide receivers was holding one of the defensive backs. Wansley, number 2, was being held.
That's going to be the call.
Spun him around like a top.
Third penalty of the afternoon against the Boilermakers.
Holding on the offense. It'll be a 10-yard penalty, and we'll replay first down.
Talk about Chris Daniels, the game he's had already around 2 touchdowns. He was voted Purdue's most valuable player by his teammates, and comes back home, and he's been the travel guide all week for his teammates. They said he's been taking them everywhere.
He's been taking Georgia's secondary everywhere today, too. He's been travel guide for them, Mike. Brees knows that he was tied in. This is Stratton. And he'll pick up part of the yardage from the penalty, plus about 4 more. Mann and Wansley combining in the stop.
There's a tight end now. He's 4th in pass receptions for the tight end position. Came into this game with 48 receptions. He does a nice job because he's a blocker for them in pass protection. Also gets some of his routes out there. But 48 catches, 49 now for a tight end.
Glad to see that Kaepernick is up.
I was going to say, they're thin in the secondary anyway. They can't afford an injury.
Cedric Brown comes into the ball game, replacing Montrell Lowe at that tailback spot. Orestes Grant on the blitz. They pick him up. It's a nice job with the tackle. And he throws back, and there's nobody on the other side of the field. And here goes the race. Brown is going to be tackled inside the 30 by Larry Mann. And I'm telling you, the air went out of this crowd on the Georgia side when they looked up and saw there were no red jerseys over there.
Well, the ball handling, first of all, is good. Then Oklahoma State used to run this type of play with Thurman Thomas and Barry Sanders. They'd roll to the right off a play action fake and then throw all the way back to the left side. And they caught Georgia inside here. Starts off with a good play fake. Now he drags, and he gets a good block right here. So you think the ball's coming this way. All of a sudden, Drew Brees pulls back up, throws to the backside, catches Cedric Brown with a lot of blockers in front of him, changes the whole field position game.
Big Chucky Okobe, the junior out of Hamden, Connecticut, was out front blocking, 324 pounds. As they keep this one on the ground, the flag comes in, ball is loose, and Georgia has recovered, and now let's see what the flag is.
That may be offsides on Georgia, where that's coming from.
Well, that's the signal that's being given by Purdue.
Yep, that's what it is.
Kendrell Bell knocked the ball loose, and it looked as though just what Mike has been talking about, something to awaken this Georgia football team, because it's like they've gotten a late wake-up call here this morning.
And Ron, that's just not concentrating to line up offsides. Starting off, you look into the ball. Joe Kynes is going to talk to his defensive lineman. That's the 3rd offside penalty by the defensive line. That's just not concentrating.
But on the opening drive, you made the comment that it opened the door, helped them get on in for the touchdown, kept that drive going, and it stopped turnover right there. Short, quick tackle in. That is Sutherland. Touchdown, Purdue. 21 yards.
2 offsides. It just sets up Drew Brees for another chance. They got to go for 2 here probably now, since they missed the last extra point. 2 offsides opens up the gate. And this Georgia team came in motivation, focus being a factor, and they're getting leveled right here in the first half.
And if you just joined us, we still got 1:03 to play in the opening quarter. As they go for two after that missed extra point. Brees right over the middle, letting just a bit too much. That was Chris James that he wanted.
Finally got pressure. Demetric Evans with the pressure. Here's the touchdown. Vinny Sutherland against Tim Wansley. It's a double slant. You get the slant on the inside, the slant on the outside, cleared out. Vinny Sutherland with a catch and the touchdown.
Well, most coaches cringe at the thought of 40 or 50 passes in a game, but as far as Joe Tiller's concerned, whatever it takes.
It's necessary for us to throw to win the football game. And I've said this more than once. We're shameless when it comes to throwing the football. And who knows how many times we'll throw it. I will say this against Georgia, that I would suspect that we'll throw more than we'll run.
Well, their passing game turns into a running game. With the short passing game, 7 rushes, 15 passes.
Remember when he came into the Big Ten from Wyoming? And everybody said, Joe, that worked out there, but that won't work in this league.
Well, I think when you look at football and college football in the SEC and the Big Ten, both of them have turned into passing leagues anymore. I've really, and you and I talked about this the other day, I think the Big Ten, I don't know what's going to happen the rest of this ball game, but I think the Big Ten by far is the best conference this year.
I agree with you. I was shocked at what Lee said a while ago. The 30-yard line. Coming up Tuesday night on ESPN College Game Night Championship Preview. Join Chris Fowler, Lee Corso, and Kirk Herbstreit at 7:30 Eastern for a full game analysis and prediction from the Nokia Sugar Bowl. Then game coverage on ABC begins at 8 as Michael Vick and second-ranked Virginia Tech take on top-ranked Florida State for the national championship. Or join Mike, Adrian, and me for the broadcast on ESPN Radio.
Ron, Purdue's defense still giving up average 225 yards passing, so there's going to be some opportunities for Georgia.
Carter's going to wind up going out of bounds. Dinkins with the pressure. Actually, the man had stayed at home, but Quincy just had too much speed for him and ran around him and then went out of bounds for a short gain.
Quincy Carter started this year, worked hard in the summer with leadership, these younger players. Finished the year with a press conference. Jim Donnan said they talked to a lot of GMs and head coaches and the pros. They said, stay in college one more year.
They finally go to work with the tight end. They haven't thrown to one yet. Got it complete for the first down. That's Michael Greer. He had McMichael out in the flat. 13 yards on the play. And in talking with Jim Donnan, I really thought that part of their game plan, they were going to go to the tight ends a lot today.
I think they will, Ron. I think they're still in shock, and it's still the first quarter, and there's a lot of football to be played here. Georgia can score. They've proven all year they can put points on the board. Just need to stay with your game plan. You're only down 19-0. Had a bad first quarter, but this game's still up for grabs.
Patrick pass, top of the screen in motion. Adele with the sack back at the 40-yard line.
Adele came into this ball game, Ron, with 10 sacks, the record produced by Roosevelt Colvin. He has 15, so make that 11 now for Adele out of Coffeyville Junior College.
That's the end of the opening quarter. The Outback Steakhouse, 19-0. Purdue leading.